Hello, and welcome to the Survival to Success podcast. In this podcast, I love to talk about transforming health and also to bring in transformative insights from brain science, from wisdom from our healers in the past, sometimes plant medicine, and also subconscious reprogramming. My name is Diane. I am a retired nurse practitioner, transformational coach, and hypnotherapist, and otherwise known as the Health Warrior. Today, the topic is going to be around a very powerful truth. And the truth is this: we need to say no, otherwise our body will say it for us. I'll repeat that. Say no, or your body will say it for you. So this quote really emphasizes the impact of unexpressed emotions on our physical well-being. So if you think of it this way, our bodies become messengers when we fail to communicate our boundaries, which is all about that mind-body connection. So I want to talk a little bit about the causes of not being able to say no, such as being worried about being liked, maybe being perceived as selfish, or being worried about disappointing other people. I also want to point out that these are all hidden beliefs from childhood, and throughout our lives, we inadvertently train people to expect things or ways of being from us. So once we shift to the point of being able to say no and setting healthy boundaries for ourselves, then some of the people in our lives are going to have a hard time with those changes in us. But however, these changes are necessary to be able to be our authentic self. And really, this is the only way to truly be free as a human, is to be able to be your authentic self. So digging into the roots of our struggles with saying no, it's really critical that we have to explore our childhood experiences as the foundation of our belief system. So again, fear of being disliked or perceived as selfish traces back to our early relationships and our conditioning, or our childhood programming. These hidden beliefs totally shape our inability to set boundaries, which gets in the way of our true path towards just being comfortable and accepting our true self. Next, I want to speak a little about my story and my experiences with childhood trauma and how I developed beliefs about myself that I had to suppress my true self in order to be lovable. Since, I felt like I was obviously not lovable the way I was treated. And so, and I couldn't even speak my truth. So otherwise I would be punished. I was subconsciously forced to be someone I was not by wearing a mask of self-protection and perfectionism. And then by living out those patterns throughout my whole life, like I'm talking for decades, my body felt every bit of it. I had neck pain, and then I had this really bad pain on the top left side of my shoulder at the base of my neck that stopped me from sleeping for more than 2 years. I had stomach issues and I had trouble peeing, and I ended up having like multiple tests, MRIs, colonoscopies, blood tests, and all kinds of stuff, CT scans, and they found that I had a herniated disc between my C6 and C7 cervical spine. But guess what? All the other symptoms I was having, there was no other pathology found. And so, like any other person, what happens is that we attach to the diagnosis and say, okay, I am a herniated disc. And we become attached to that. And we literally live it out, and it never resolves, right? And so it wasn't until I absolutely refused to believe that this diagnosis, or I refused to let this diagnosis affect my life, and I refused to believe it. And so I found a physiotherapist who helped me release the energy that was trapped in that area. And it completely transformed my life from there, at least for that part of my symptoms. And so I began to realize that trapped emotions and childhood programming was causing pretty much all of my bodily symptoms. I had been packing all of these emotions away into Pandora's box for so many years, and being afraid to disappoint people, wanting to please people, overworking, going out of my way to prove I was worth something. And so what happened is all of those emotions in Pandora's box had started to leak out by affecting my body in terms of pain, muscle weakness, body imbalances, digestive problems, inflammation, and so much more. And the thing is, we don't realize just how much childhood programming and all those old beliefs and not being able to just be ourselves has an impact on our body. And it's totally unbelievable to what degree this is true. And, most people don't know this, or they're so attached to their medical diagnosis that they can't even see beyond their diagnosis. And so the important thing to know is every single chronic condition, every condition is impacted by our past and our emotions and our programming. And many people don't realize that. So if you have a diagnosis of some kind of neuromuscular disorder, even things like high blood pressure and heart disease and all kinds of stuff that's impacting your body, then seriously look at your past history, your trauma, and what from things from your past could be impacting your body, because there is a direct connection between all of those emotions that we pack away deep in our subconscious mind, and we're not even aware that they're there, but they are showing themselves in medical diagnosis and chronic disease. It's a very powerful thing to realize for yourself. So in summary, childhood trauma led me to believe that my authentic self was not lovable. So this prompted me to wear a mask for acceptance, to be the way I was expected to behave the way I was expected to behave, which wasn't my true self, but I was forced to be that in order to survive and to somehow work towards being lovable, which I don't think I ever achieved anyway, but that was what I was consciously doing. And so the mind-body connection is so powerful, and it made me realize just how these suppressed emotions show themselves physically, leading to pain and discomfort and issues with our body. Such a powerful realization for me. So next, I want to talk a little bit about how you can apply these principles to your own life. And I want to give you some detailed examples of how you can implement this. And so you need to be aware of something though. As you begin to stand in your power and start to say no and set healthy boundaries for yourself, there will be people in your life that will not like it. But hey, think of it this way. Let's be serious here. If you say no to a friend about going for coffee because you are super tired and you've been up all night, and then they get upset with you about it or really pissed off, then you have to really question what kind of friend they really are. Let's be real. It is so important to know that as we shift and evolve and change, there are people in our life that will fall away because they're truly not aligned with our authentic self, and that is okay. It may be hard though and give us feelings of loss, but as we evolve and move forward, it's going to be so powerful that you're going to begin to attract those kind of people who are truly aligned with your energy and who are completely understanding with and totally respect you when you say no and what your personal boundaries are. They will be understanding, and there will be no question that, yes, of course, you do what's right for you. Now, that's a real friend. So it's really powerful to get to that place to be your authentic self and to not be afraid to be that way. And like I say, it is not an easy path to go on, because a lot of times these subconscious beliefs and patterns, we are completely blind to them. So we don't realize what is influencing our decisions and our ways of being. Like, what's causing me to be a people pleaser? What's causing me to overwork and think that that has something to do with making me worth something, right? And so this is why I say it's not easy. So often we may need the help of a coach or perhaps a hypnotherapist. And I say hypnotherapist because a lot of our deeply ingrained beliefs are in our subconscious mind, and we are not even aware of them. So the hypnotherapist will help to open up the subconscious mind, to peel away those old beliefs, to allow you the permission deep inside of your own body to easily be your true authentic self and to say no to what's not aligned. So that's a very, very powerful ability to be able to open up the subconscious mind, develop an awareness of what's there that you were blind to, and then work with that and peel away some of those beliefs that do not work for you. There is a deep connection between not being able to say no to what you really want to say no to and not being your authentic self. And there's a connection between that and always saying yes, trying to please everybody, not wanting to make people unhappy or to disappoint people, or being worried about being liked and being worried about how we're perceived. All of those are extremely draining to our body and leads to disease. And there is a proven connection between those ways of thinking, people pleasing, worrying about what people think, not putting yourself first, and doing things, saying yes to things when you really want to say no. There's a powerful connection between that and actually developing disease in our bodies. So in summary, we need to understand the impact of early experiences in our life on our present behavior. So applying these principles involves recognizing those patterns that are rooted in our childhood. So saying no and setting boundaries can be challenging, but it's a crucial step towards authenticity and being able to be free to live as your true authentic self. So I urge you to question any relationships in your life that resist your positive growth and align to those people that are real conscious connections. And a lot of times we have to lose quite a few people in our life before, and then time goes by and we begin to attract people back into our life who are true conscious connections for us. As you can probably tell, I am extremely passionate about using hypnotherapy and coaching and how this can transform subconscious beliefs on a deep level, to peel away those layers, allow us to evolve, and to begin to love and accept ourselves in our true authentic form. So this is a very powerful evolution to achieve. And if you're having difficulty doing it by yourself, then getting yourself a hypnotherapist and a coach is definitely a good idea. I've been through this myself after many years of trauma and living these beliefs for decades, and I was able to transform and change dramatically with the help of these types of professionals. And so this is why I became a coach and a hypnotherapist myself, because I could see the power of how that kind of role helps people to transform very quickly and at a deep level. And the key thing is to remember is that self-awareness is the first step. So if you're blind to something and it's impacting your life, then how are you going to change it? The first step is to develop self-awareness and to become aware of what things are trapped in your subconscious mind. So I talk a lot about the role of the subconscious mind in shaping our behavior. So aligning with this, hypnotherapy becomes a very powerful tool for addressing things like deep-seated beliefs. And I often speak about the need to explore our subconscious to bring about transformational change. So this is why I do something, I mean, some people call it hypno-coaching, but I call it coaching and hypnotherapy. And I became this coach and a hypnotherapist, which was inspired by my past experience, helped me peel away those layers, really gave me that very powerful self-awareness and allowed me to live and to exist as my authentic self. Now, there's nothing more powerful than that. The conclusion here is that ultimately we get to choose between being our authentic self and being attached to unhealthy people, unhealthy beliefs, and being stuck in the people-pleasing and the yes person cycle. So the ultimate goal for each and every person that I work with is to have freedom. And this is essential for health as well. As you can tell, when you're free of those unwanted beliefs where you feel like you can't say no because you're afraid of disappointing people, that is having a severe impact on your health. So, and it's having an impact on your freedom to be able to just be your true authentic self. So to have those healthy boundaries, to be able to say no when you really mean no, and to not put yourself on the back burner in order to please people or to avoid disappointing others or to avoid the risk of not being liked or to avoid the risk of looking selfish. It is truly magical and incredible to get to the point where you can shift and change yourself and your life to work towards this kind of freedom. And I use the term, it's almost like finally being set free from being the prisoner of your own mind. It's a very powerful thing. And I, about 3 years ago, came up with that statement because I literally was freed from the prison of my own mind. Now, how powerful is that? So having this freedom to just be myself, and all of my pain and all of that suffering and the body symptoms and everything else completely resolved once I peeled away all those layers. So having this freedom to be yourself is proven not to only prevent disease and disability, but also to get rid of it in our lives. And I'm proof of that. So the impact and the incredible power to be able to change all of that programming and to get rid of the masks, just to allow yourself to be free, to just be yourself, is absolutely incredible. And I can't say that enough. So if you would like to hear more about how hypno-coaching or coaching and hypnotherapy can dramatically change your health and your life, then be sure to reach out to me on social media, or you're certainly welcome to email me at support@dianegudmundson.com. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I will see you on the next one.